Today we're going to use the following information to verify the accuracy of the finance charge that Mr. Kimbler was charged on his December 1st, 2013 credit card statement using a credit calendar. Mr. Kimbler's credit card statement shows a balance due in the amount of $512.67 on December 1st, 2013, which is the billing date, and a previous balance amount of $787.50. For the period ending December 1st, 2013, he had the following transactions. On November 8th, he had a charge at Eco Unlimited for $103.75. On November 13th, he had a payment of $500. On November 21st, he had a charge for $38.35 from P.F. Chang's. And on November 27th, he had a charge for $74.25 from the Nike outlet store. If the billing cycle is 31 days long, verify that the average daily balance for the period was $586.95. and that the finance charge should have been $8.82. So we're going to start by looking at the credit calendar and putting our dates into the credit calendar. And because we have the ending date, we're going to start and work backwards on our calendar. So we know that December 1st of 2013 is the first day of the cycle. So we're going to put a 1 in the last calendar date. We also know that the billing cycle was 31 days, so we're going to work backwards 31 days. Looking at the calendar, November has 30 days in it. So we're going to put the 30th there. We're going to put the 29th, and we're going to work backwards until we get to 31 days. So we're going to go for the entire month of November and keep working, keep putting our numbers in. And when we get towards the beginning of the month, we're going to start looking for that 31st day because we know there's only 31 days in the billing cycle. So at this point, we have 28 days. Now we have 29 days, we have 30 days, and there's our 31st day. So we know on the calendar we don't have to use any of these boxes because there's our 31 days. Now if we look back at our information on our sheet, it tells us that our beginning balance for the period was $787.50. So we're going to go back to our calendar, and we're going to go to our first day, and we're going to put in our balance of $787.50. So on day 1, we had $787.50. Okay, if we look back at our transactions, we'll see that our first transaction happened on November 8th, which was a charge of $103.75. So our balance on our credit card does not change until the 8th. And on the 8th, we are going to add $103.75 to our balance. So 103.75. So we can go through and make sure that our balance stays at $787.50 for every one of these other days. Now, on a go-forward basis, I'm not going to write in all these numbers. I'm going to draw an arrow, and all that arrow represents is the fact that that number stays the same. So after this, we'll do an arrow. But on the 8th, we have $787.50 plus $103.75. So our new balance on the 8th of the month is going to move up to $891.25. So $891.25. Now, if we look back at our transactions, we have a payment, but not until November 13th. On November 13th, we pay $500. So if we go back to our calendar, and on November 13th, we're going to subtract $500 from our balance because we made a payment. So our credit card gets reduced. So our new balance of $891.25 is going to go all the way through to this point right here, and $891.25. And we're going to subtract $500 from our balance, and that's going to leave us with $391.25. Okay, so our new balance is $391.25. The next transaction that we have on our credit card is on November 21st, and it's for $38.35, and it's a charge to our card, so it's going to increase our balance. So on the 21st, we're going to go add $38.35. So we're going to come in here and we're going to add $38.35 to our account. So we're going to take this balance of $391.25 and we're going to drag it all the way over to here. And we are going to take $391.25 and we're going to add $38.35 to it. And we're going to come up with a new balance of $429.60. So our new balance on our credit card is $429.60, which we're going to keep that for a while because our next transaction doesn't happen until November 27th, and it's another charge of $74.25 from the Nike outlet store. So we're going to go on November 27th and add $74.25. So plus $74.25. And we're going to carry this balance all the way over to this date. And we're going to put $429.60. And we're going to add $74.25 to that, which is going to end us up with a final balance of $503.85. So $503.85. And we're going to carry that balance out until the end of the month. Okay, so now we have our balances by day. We've got to go through and calculate our average daily balance. So if we look at this, the amount, $787.50, we have to look how many days did we have of that balance. Well, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We had 7 days at that amount. So we're going to multiply that number by 7. Okay, then our next amount, $891.25. How many days did we have at that balance? Well, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, and we had 5 days at that balance. We're going to multiply that by 5. And then we had our next amount, $391.25. We're going to see how many days we had at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we're going to multiply that number times 8. And we're going to look at our next amount. Our next amount is $429.60. We're going to count the days there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we had 6 days at that amount. And our last number, $503.85. We're going to take and multiply that by 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And 5. Now we're going to verify that we had 31 days in our billing cycle. So 7 plus 5 is 12, plus 8 is 20, plus 6 is 26, plus 5 is 31 days in our billing cycle, which is perfect because that's what it told us back on the first page, that we had 31 days in our billing cycle. So now we're going to go add up and multiply and then add these numbers. So if we take our first grouping of numbers, it ends up being $5,512.50. Second number, 4456.25. Third number, 3130.00. Then we get 2577.60, and we end up with 2519.05, which gives us a grand total of $18,195.40. So to find our average daily balance, we take that amount, $18,195.40, and we divide it by the number of days in the billing cycle, which is 31, and that gets us to an average daily balance of $586.95. Oops, $586.95. So if we look back at our question on our sheet, question A says, find the average daily balance for the period using the credit calendar on the next page. Is it correct? Well, we calculated it to be $586.95. They tell us that the average daily balance should have been $596.85. So our answer is it correct? Yes, because our number matches the statement. Okay, so we can say correctly that they did calculate the average daily balance right. Second part, find the finance charge to be paid on December 1st, 2013 at 1.75% interest per month. Is this number correct and why? Well, to find out the interest, we have to take our average daily balance, which we found on this page, which is $586.95, and we have to multiply it by our interest rate, which is 0.0175, and we get a number of $8.82. Okay, so $8.82. Okay, so they're telling us in the problem that the finance charge should have been $8.82, and in our calculation, we came up with $10.27. So our finance charge says it should be this. They only charged us $8.82, which works out to our benefit. So is this number correct? The answer is no. And why not? Because our number is different than theirs. So they have some sort of a calculation error on their part when they calculate their interest. So using a credit calendar, you can go back and try to calculate your credit card statement. You look at your average daily balance, you calculate your finance charge, and you see if your balances are correct at the end of the month. So at the end of the billing period, they're telling us that our billing amount, our balance amount, is $512.67, and according to our calendar, our credit calendar, our balance should be $503.65. Okay, so it should be $503.65 plus our finance charge of $10.27 for a grand total of $513.92. So the credit card company made some sort of a mistake. Our statement balance is actually less than it should be, which works out to our favor, so we will not contact them and let them know. Okay, so that's how you can take a credit card statement, use a credit calendar, and calculate backwards to try to figure out if they calculated your average daily balance correct and your finance charge correctly. In this case, the average daily balance was correct, but they had some sort of a mix-up in their finance charge. So your problem now is here, a little bit different. You're going to go the other direction. You're going to move forward. I moved backwards. You're going to use a credit calendar, which you find on the desk up at Mr. Kimbler's desk, and you're going to try to calculate and see if you can see what the finance charge should be and what the average daily balance would be for this billing cycle. Good luck.